The birth of a genius. On January 8, 1942, in Oxford, England, exactly 300 years after Galileo's death, a boy was born who would one day redefine our understanding of the cosmos. His name was Stephen William Hawking. Born into an intellectually vibrant family, Stephen's father, Frank, was a respected biologist, and his mother, Isabel, worked as a medical secretary. Despite living through the hardships of wartime Britain, the Hawking household was filled with books, curiosity, and lively debates. From an early age, Stephen showed an unusual fascination with how things worked. He would take apart clocks and radios, trying to uncover their secrets. Though he wasn't considered a top student, his analytical mind stood out. Friends often called him Einstein. No one knew then that this curious boy would one day rival the greatest scientific thinkers in history. The young dreamer at St. Albans. Stephen grew up in St. Albans, where his thirst for knowledge deepened. At school, he wasn't the most hard-working student, but he was inventive, building model airplanes and computers from scrap parts. His teachers recognized his brilliance, but also his playful rebellion against routine. Stephen preferred questioning established truths to memorizing facts. By his teenage years, he was already dreaming about the universe, stars, time, and infinity. He read about space and relativity with awe. His father wanted him to study medicine, but Stephen's heart was set on mathematics and physics. He wanted to understand the why behind existence itself. That decision would shape his destiny. As he prepared for university, no one could foresee that his mind would soon travel beyond the limits of human imagination. Oxford days, the spark of greatness. In 1959, at just 17, Stephen entered the University of Oxford on a scholarship. The quiet, inquisitive boy soon became known for his wit and humor. Though he found the coursework easy, he preferred philosophical debates and rowing with his college team. He loved adventure as much as theory. Yet beneath his playful surface was a restless thinker, haunted by big questions. How did the universe begin? Why does it exist? During his final years at Oxford, Stephen began to notice something strange: occasional clumsiness, slurred speech, and difficulty with movements. He ignored them at first, thinking they were due to stress. But fate was quietly preparing to test him in unimaginable ways. Cambridge and the cruel diagnosis. After Oxford, Stephen moved to Cambridge to pursue a PhD in cosmology. There, surrounded by brilliant minds, he felt at home. His supervisor, Dennis Sciama, encouraged his interest in the origin of the universe. But just as his scientific journey began, his health rapidly declined. At 21, after a series of medical tests, doctors gave him a devastating diagnosis: amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, a rare motor neuron disease. They said he had only 2 years to live. The news shattered him. For weeks, Stephen fell into despair. Life seemed meaningless. But a chance meeting with Jane Wilde, a bright and kind student, reignited his hope. Love gave him strength to fight back, not with his body, but with his mind. Love, marriage, and determination. In 1965, defying all odds, Stephen married Jane Wilde. Their union symbolized courage and belief in life beyond suffering. Jane became his emotional anchor, supporting him through physical challenges. Despite his deteriorating mobility, Stephen continued his research at Cambridge. He focused on the mysteries of black holes and the nature of time. His curiosity burned stronger than ever. With Jane by his side, he learned to use crutches, then a wheelchair, but never let the disease define him. Their small apartment became a hub of science, love, and laughter. The couple had 3 children, and Hawking became a devoted father. His determination was extraordinary. The man who couldn't move his body was now exploring the movement of galaxies. The birth of a new theory. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Stephen's ideas began changing cosmology forever. He combined Einstein's general relativity with quantum mechanics, 2 theories once thought incompatible. His research led to the groundbreaking concept of Hawking radiation, which suggested that black holes aren't entirely black, but slowly emit energy and could eventually vanish. This revolutionary theory shocked the scientific community and made him a star in the world of physics. Stephen's illness worsened, but his intellect soared higher. As his voice weakened, his thoughts grew louder across the world. He was now being compared to Einstein, not for sympathy, but for genius. The voice of a machine. By the mid-1980s, Stephen lost his ability to speak. After a severe bout of pneumonia, doctors performed a tracheotomy, leaving him permanently voiceless. But technology came to his rescue. Engineers developed a speech-generating computer system that allowed him to communicate through a voice synthesizer, the robotic tone that would become his global identity. With his new voice, Stephen began giving lectures, interviews, and talks that inspired millions. He said humorously, "The voice I use is actually better than mine ever was." This transformation made him not only a scientific hero, but a symbol of human resilience, proof that intellect can triumph over physical limitations. A brief history of time. In 1988, Stephen published his masterpiece, A Brief History of Time. Written for the general public, it aimed to explain the universe, its origin, black holes, time, and fate, in simple language. To everyone's surprise, it became an international bestseller, selling over 25 million copies. The book turned Stephen Hawking into a pop culture icon. He appeared on television shows, documentaries, and even in Star Trek and The Simpsons. Yet behind the fame, he remained humble, focused on his quest to find a single, unifying theory, a theory of everything. His book gave humanity not just scientific knowledge, but a sense of wonder and hope about our place in the cosmos. Fame, challenges, and new discoveries. Success brought recognition, but also pressure. Hawking continued working intensely, pushing his frail body beyond its limits. His marriage with Jane became strained as his condition worsened. In the early 1990s, the couple separated, though they remained deeply respectful of each other. Stephen later married his nurse, Elaine Mason, though their relationship, too, was complicated. Despite personal challenges, his passion for the cosmos never faded. He collaborated with top scientists, gave lectures worldwide, and continued exploring the paradoxes of black holes and time travel. Each new theory he proposed reignited public fascination, proving that even trapped in a wheelchair, his mind roamed freely across galaxies. Into the heart of the universe. As technology advanced, so did Hawking's reach. He used computers and visual simulations to explore questions once considered impossible. Could time have a beginning? Could there be multiple universes? His no-boundary proposal with James Hartle became one of his most profound contributions, suggesting the universe has no edge, no beginning, and no creator in the traditional sense. Stephen's work challenged both science and religion. Yet, he remained deeply philosophical, often saying, knowing the mind of God would be the ultimate triumph of reason. Through science, he searched not for faith, but for understanding, and in that quest, he found something deeply spiritual. Beyond science, the public icon. By the 2000s, Stephen Hawking was no longer just a scientist. He was a global symbol of courage, intelligence, and humor. He spoke at NASA, met world leaders, and continued to inspire generations. His documentaries and lectures reached millions of students worldwide. He championed causes like disability rights and the survival of humanity through space exploration. He warned about artificial intelligence, climate change, and the risks of human extinction. His robotic voice became a voice of conscience for the planet. Even as his health deteriorated, his presence lit up every room he entered. The man who couldn't move had moved the entire world. The final journey. In his later years, Hawking continued to defy expectations. Doctors had given him 2 years to live. He survived more than 5 decades. His last book, Brief Answers to the Big Questions, reflected on humanity's future, the existence of God, and the fate of the universe. In March 2018, Stephen Hawking passed away peacefully at his Cambridge home at the age of 76. The world mourned not just a scientist, but a philosopher of existence. His ashes were interred at Westminster Abbey, beside Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin, a fitting home for one of the greatest minds in history. Legacy of the Cosmos. Stephen Hawking's legacy lives on, in science, in technology, and in the hearts of millions. He transformed our understanding of black holes, time, and the origin of the universe. But beyond equations, his greatest message was one of resilience. He taught the world that intelligence, humor, and hope can conquer even the darkest challenges. However difficult life may seem, he once said, there's always something you can do and succeed at. Today, his ideas continue to inspire new generations of scientists, dreamers, and thinkers. The stars he once studied now seem to shine a little brighter, as if honoring the man who helped us understand their eternal mystery.